Hey everybody, it is Monday, November 6, 2023. I'm Gene, and welcome to the Monday edition of Hanging with Uncle. Have a few interesting things to talk about today. First of all, happy Veterans Day. And I am a veteran. I served honorably in the United States Air Force. So happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Please hit that subscribe button. We're really trying to grow our channel, and hit that like button. It spreads the word about our channel out here and what we do, and hit that notification bell on the right so you'll be notified when we put new content out there and go live. And having said that, talking about Veterans Day, let's go to our man on the street. Brent, what's up, man?
Thanks for having me again on the show, brother.
Anytime.
Happy Veterans Day, everyone. Yeah, I want to get a shout out to my son. He's in the Navy right now. He just signed his second Navy contract. He'll be heading off to the Keystone of the Pacific there.
Nice.
Okinawa, here he comes. He'll be there probably, I think, at the end of next year.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on over there in Asia, and I'm glad he's taking an initiative to protect home and country.
So I think what we need to recognize, just from my point of view, how big veterans groups are. If we took everyone that served in the military that has been discharged, that still has a lot to give and a lot to offer. A lot of them still work maybe in civilian contract jobs for the military, or just take pride in knowing that they served their country and did their part to keep us living safely the way that we all enjoy and probably a lot of us take for granted. I hope that, any of our listeners out there are not part of that crowd. But I just want to say that I think, again, looking at it from a non-political point of view, just kind of like what your thought is, if the millions and millions of veterans in this country came together based on the issues and not a political party, the difference it would make. What do you think, Brent?
And that our veterans, our military, most of them really aren't that politically motivated to begin with. They look at the facts more, and but I think as you come out of the Army, Navy, whatever armed service you we're in, sometimes you fall back into routines around your community. But you have to think of your community as a whole. And our country is a very fractured place right now.
Yeah.
So the voice that we need to have is a stable voice of reason. And that voice is not coming from the political side right now. It needs to come from us. It needs to come from the people that protect the thin blue line, that protected our national lines, need to come together and take on these challenges as a unified group wanting to correct big national security concerns right now.
Right, because see, you're absolutely right, Brent, and it doesn't matter if somebody's sitting in one of our legislative seats that has a D or an R next to their name. If veterans collectively, just based on an issue, say fund the VA, hire more doctors, whatever the issue is, and millions of veterans just said, hey, do that, imagine the effect that would have on veterans care.
Yeah, I always think like, I always think about a purple ticket more. One that's not politically motivated, that's more nationally security concern motivated, and would vote to have a strong military presence in our government, not just on the wings. Like, it seems like people talk about veterans one time a year. It should be, throughout the whole year, really. But
Right.
if you're looking at veterans, they're usually the politicians talk about them more when there's times of crisis going on. They talk about all these federal programs that are in the pipe works. All of a sudden, they start beating that drum, saying we're going to protect our veterans. But then, as soon as the conflict's over, they're trying to cut the programs right away and basically wash away everything you've done, because they want to be the ones that are, kind of the ones like, oh, I helped out America. No, you might have, but definitely the veterans did, who stood up, because freedom isn't necessarily free. It's fought for sometimes.
Right.
And you got to go ahead and fight for common beliefs and that America is a good place. And veterans play such an important role, man.
What does that tell you, that people like Jon Stewart, who's not a veteran, but believes in the freedoms that they have provided us, has to go to Congress and testify on their behalf? Why won't Congress just do their job and honor their contract to the veterans that have served this country and now need assistance for a myriad of different reasons, whether it be PTSD or the loss of a limb, or, just maybe high blood pressure, or whatever your issue is. You go to the VA for that, and you would think that the VA would be there to honor its commitments to the veterans, but it seems like we always have to fight Congress to honor their promise and fund the VA.
Just they don't make, I guess it's a money maker to talk about it, but it loses money to actually put that into action. So it seems like they just point fingers at each other why this is not getting done. One will blame it on the budget, one will blame it on this, that. But the thing is we need to put people in positions to go ahead and take on this challenge now. So instead of waiting for the war to get on, which is going to be getting on here really soon, it's going to be a major war here. If it's a prolonged engagement, that means your children that are going to be going into this conflict are going to be coming back maybe with injuries, definitely with psychological scars. So you got to go ahead and start planning ahead and elect people that just not talk the talk but walk the walk.
It begs me to ask the question again that I asked last night. When you're thinking about who you're going to vote for, just ask yourself, what would this country look like if our elected officials actually work for us instead of the corporations that bought them? Remember that when you go in the ballot box.
I think of a cool way to maybe get rid of that is that if you're going to try to elect people on, say, a purple ticket or whatever, almost like a new party, but it doesn't really matter whether the Republicans or Democrats, just as long as they do one thing, and that's support the military, but they're actually going to be cut on their wage. They're going to do this for the greater good. You already get a house if you go to Congress, right? You're going to get your meals paid for and all that. You basically have a per diem. How about if you work for $40,000 a year and you can't make more than $40,000 a year, and all your finances are across the board, where they could see everything that's going on, everything is accounted for. Then instead of paying into whatever else you make over that limit, that will go back in to help fund this purple ticket. Then instead of trying to fund the Republican or Democratic Party, well, poach from them. Poach good people, possibly, that would be military-centric, that might want to get behind this. There is Congress people that have been talking about term limits and exorbitant pay and ways to get big business and lobbyists out of here. Well, here's one way to do it right now. work for 40 grand a year, work for the greater good. Then if you serve your 12 years in Congress and 12 years in the Senate, and then maybe try to run for president, well, you do that at a young age, so when you do get out, now you've been shown corporations in America who you really are, so you have no trouble getting a job in the private sector. But you're not trying to buy your way into the private sector by helping out lobbyists and companies get their way to run amok in your country. It's for the greater good.
I guess if I had to consider myself a political party, I would be the party of the Constitution. Because that is what this country is based on. That is what I took an oath as a veteran and a law enforcement officer to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And what it says in that document is what I believe in and how the rule of law should be applied. And, that I guess that would be my viewpoint, because it's a whole nother conversation, but gumming up the court systems with bills and laws that are unconstitutional, but you're going to do it anyway, just for the sake of doing it, for the sake of power, to me is frivolous and a waste of taxpayer expenses. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. But I know you wanted to give a shout out to a new member of the Joint Chiefs.
Yeah, our first lady Joint Chiefs of Staff for the Navy now, the top officer is Admiral Franchitti. And then they just appointed the first CIO that's a woman. She's the Navy chief. The CIO is Jane Rathbun. Rathbun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is such a great day for veterans of all walks of life, really. I mean, the incredible things that women do for our military and what they have done in the past. I mean, it's all coming to a head right now. It's a different battlefield out there. Well, technology is starting to rule the day, and cybersecurity now is becoming such a big part of it with OSNet and different types of tools that people use on the battlefield now.
Well, I'm just glad the pressure from his peers on the Senate floor have forced Tommy Tuberville to pull his head out of his ass and stop blocking these promotions and getting in the way of our national defense, because he doesn't think he's doing anything to weaken our country by holding up these promotions. He's fucking stupid.
Yeah, he's I call him Loserville, man. It's just incredible what he was trying to do to hold these back. It basically comes down to a personal grudge more. I mean, it could be a few different things. For one, by slowing down appointments, makes our military weaker. That strengthens our enemies. So this could actually be helpful to countries like Russia. Really,
also based on a violation of the First Amendment, freedom of religion, or a separation of church and state. You want to impose your religious belief as laws among the rest of us, in direct violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution that says Congress shall make no law. It doesn't get any clearer than that. In favor of one religion and not in favor of another. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's what these guys want to do. They want to shit on church and state and impose their religious beliefs on the rest of us, which is in direct violation of the First Amendment, our freedom of religion.
There's a couple things that he's working on with that. Alabama is such a fractured place, man. I mean, I lived really close to it down a couple years ago. I was in Columbia, about 40 miles north of the border. And I knew there was problems with the bills that were going through for immigrants not being able to work on the farms. A lot of people came up to Tennessee to work on them. They lost tons of crops down there for this.
Yeah.
They lost so much money, the farms did. But then Tommy Tuberville has a problem with them not getting that Space Force contract. You know, they have NASA has a space camp down there in Huntsville, Alabama. Really cool for the kids, but for a strategic spot to have that type of operation, you probably want it in different locations, and that's why they thought about Colorado, and that's where it went to, I think. But he's trying to stoke this, too, to get, I guess, more defense industrial-based spending in Alabama, and it seems to be backfiring on him.
You know, he's an idiot, man. I hope that he is not reelected or he does not run for reelection. He's an idiot, and he's a threat to our national security, which to me is a good segue into our next topic, cybersecurity, man, which I know when it comes to cybersecurity, everyone wants to know what they can do to make themselves safer on the internet for whatever reason, from whether it be identity theft or child exploitation prevention. I mean, give us your take on, the most important thing that we need to know about protecting ourselves on the internet.
Well, we do have our intellectual property is being stolen left and right with lots of major corporations. Not only that, our financial information is being stolen and sold on the dark web all the time. So everyone has our information, it seems like, and we have some tools to prevent it, but the best way to do it is to figure out how to start preventing people to phish your information to begin with, and how to go ahead and protect, especially your children's online identities. So a major issue right now is child sex trafficking and sex trafficking in general. A lot of this is done right on the open on the dark web and on different sites on the internet. They're actually being so brazen, they're not even using the dark web. They're just using sites on there, and there's so many different groups involved in this now. It used to be a problem, back in 2012, but especially in about 2017, it started to get a lot more. And it seemed like with this Pizzagate bullshit and different things, instead of that discouraging people, that made people wonder about it. It seemed like if elites are getting away with it, or whatever that rhetoric was at the time, maybe they can get away with it more. And it started to become an increasing problem where your children are now being targeted on simple apps like Roblox. Basically, any type of online gaming system out there, there's probably predators on those sites looking for targets. And it doesn't just get down to whether they get your child away from the house. Picture this. This is becoming bigger. So if your child is waking up to his teenage self, he's wanting to talk to some girls, or some girls are wanting to talk to guys online, there's actually people posing as people looking to date. Teenagers just looking for dating sites. They got their own little lingos, their own little groups they hang out with, a lot of Discord groups from gaming groups. Well, there's this new thing where they try to use you to go ahead and send your information to them. They start showing you pictures, these AI-generated pictures of underage women, basically, or men, and then you go ahead and you start to maybe have feelings, and all of a sudden your child sends stuff to them that might be slightly inappropriate. But they're trying to date, there's all these things, they don't know about it. But these guys, or people, groups, are targeting these, and now they're extorting these children for money. So this became really prevalent in the last 2 or 3 years too. So you have to get.
What do mom and
Go
dad
ahead, man.
need to know to protect, to block this, this kind of content or these people from, like you said, roadblocks? You know, this is very important because that's very popular with kids nowadays.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, you need to understand what the internet is. You need to go ahead and get computer savvy enough, and maybe need to take some courses yourself in order to monitor your child's social media usage. Maybe have a certain time. Like there's certain apps and certain ways you could block TV programs, but you could do some stuff online that could help you monitor it more. But instead of having an app monitor it for you or put restrictions on it, children are smart. They can get around those restrictions. They know their buddy next door might not have a parent tracking that. So what you need to do is educate them. You need to sit down and talk to them about this. It seems like the media is not really talking about this because it's a dirty subject, talking about children being sex trafficked and all this.
Well,
And it seems like we're in a politically correct era that they want to gloss over these things and say it's a problem, but you have to address the problem. You got to go ahead and take proactive steps to go ahead and talk to them, but also know how to, how to protect them. Maybe by taking cybersecurity training. Maybe by understanding what a phishing attack is. There's plenty of sources on LinkedIn where we are trying to help you understand that more and more every day. That's what we do. Go ahead, Gene.
oh, I was just gonna, say, if protecting our kids isn't important, then I don't know what is. Thank God I'm an empty nester. Mine are grown and gone, but I do have a granddaughter, and she's very important to me, and I want nothing to happen to her nor anybody else's kids. So this is very important to me. But you also mentioned identity theft, and that is very common, like you said, with phishing. Like, for example, if you're ever contacted by the IRS, it won't be via email. You'll get a letter with IRS letterhead. So I know that's a big scam. People calling saying I'm from the IRS, or you get emails from the IRS phishing for your personal data. What other sources we need to pay attention to, in that area of protecting our identity?
Yeah, a lot of phishing attacks will come and it'll make it look like a corporate account trying to reach out to you. And it'll have you open up a link, and at that time when you open up that link and you didn't study, like you didn't go through the checks to see where this originated at, where the email was sent from, what type of group. There's ways that you could check this beforehand by knowing digital forensics, basically. How to go ahead and safeguard it, but you don't even need to know the digital forensics. You just don't open up anything that you suspect to be bad, basically. Like if you're not ordering from Amazon and all of a sudden Amazon's telling you we got an order for you and please hit this link, and then they're asking you personal questions, well, they don't need to know your personal information. They should have that stuff right now. You got a Prime account or whatever. But these are basically these you could go ahead and watch videos, YouTube videos online right now.
Yeah.
A good source would be the InfoSec community. InfoSec Live has a lot of good shows on LinkedIn, other places. What we do in the Genius group, we have a group on LinkedIn with mentors in there from different agencies, and I created it to be a site where we could start training police force. The children over 16 years of age can be on LinkedIn with parental permission. we started creating this thinking about how we're going to get people interested in cybersecurity, military, and intelligence community jobs. So that's what I've been doing a lot of in the last few weeks to getting this set up. I reached out to the Army National Guard here in South Carolina. I just reached out to the Myrtle Beach Police today, and I'm telling them about thought crimes and digital forensics, and they really don't know much about it. And the thing is this. Go ahead, Gene.
No, I was just going to say, man, it's funny you mentioned that because I just kind of laugh. I get these emails like, my reward from Ace Hardware is ready for me. And I'm just like, come on, you got to try harder than this. And, just report it as spam. And hopefully that takes care of it. But yeah, that is a very real thing. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it keeps on coming. You think we spam this stuff, and all of a sudden somebody else is sending it to you. It's something they did with a law, I think, about 3 years ago, Gene, or 2 years ago. They said that they're going to go ahead and clean it up, but the law they made was very ambiguous, and it created more opportunities for people just by changing their approach slightly. I forgot the name of the law. It's something internet, blah, 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 law.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, what is that, man? Net neutral.
Net neutral. Let me write that down, too. I can look that up. Net neutral. So, basically, right now is if we're going to start training children and parents, we're trying to develop a system where we could train even the police on this. So there's a lot of training companies out there. Like if a police officer wants to go through a training academy and wants to know how to prosecute sex traffickers, how to target them more, well, they got to pay about $500 to $1,000 per person per class. So a lot of police stations don't have that budget. Right. Now they can maybe have people that want to be trained in that. So, one of the people I work with is the director of Homeland Solutions. So I've been trying to reach her to figure out ways that we could get the defense industrial base to help out with funding opportunities. But there's ways that we could fund ourselves through a 501c3. And this is the plan I have. So if you have officers that want to get trained, instead of paying $500 or $1,000 a shot, I could get somebody that is trained in that, probably through the divas. They call the cybersecurity divas.
Yeah.
They're Air Force ladies and a few other people. But they could actually have somebody come in and train, pay them $40,000 a year. Here comes that $40,000 again. Pay them $40,000 a year to train anybody they want, and then offer classes one after another. And then anybody that has questions could go into the Genius Group and be mentored more. But as we're doing this, we got to realize if children are coming on board, we're going to be doing high school general assemblies. You got to keep it clean. You can't have no political or religious references in order for schools to kind of get on board with this.
Right.
So it's a whole approach. It's not just the police. It's going to be high school students who want to get trained into positions into the police force or the military or into intelligence community jobs. So this all helps each other. The thing is I want to do it. I want to do it for free, I don't want to monetize it. This is the whole point. Everyone wants to try to monetize this. No, you're doing this to protect your country.
Right. And I tell you,
this is something
we're kind of running out of time, but I just want to say thank you. I mean, full disclosure, I'm part of the Genius Group. Trust me, I'm not in the cybersecurity expert. But these are questions that I think everybody asks themselves, and this is a good place to come to have your questions answered. And thank you for doing this, Brent.
Yeah, no problem, man. If you guys want to check it out on LinkedIn, somebody from the intelligence community took it over. You could check out, it's Genius, No Student Left Behind on LinkedIn. And we'll get out more information about what we're doing with the General Assemblies. I still have a lot of pieces to put together in the next few weeks, but hopefully I'm going to find a strong military woman trained in cybersecurity to help me kind of take over this program. I put the pieces together. We need veterans to help step up to the plate through your substitute teacher programs. I'll explain it all in the post I make, but yeah, thank you for your time, brother, and thank you for your service, man. I appreciate it,
man, and thank you very much. You're very welcome, and thank you. And yeah. Anyway, I'm just happy because I'm done with radiation. I actually had a beer, first time in a long time, and yeah, good show, man. Thank you very much for being on.
No problem. Time for a glass of wine myself.
All right. And thank you all for listening out there. That's all the time we have for tonight. Please remember, be kind to one another and treat each other the way you want to be treated. Let's make this a better place to live, okay? We don't have Planet B. Anyway, I'm Gene, and thank you for hanging with Uncle. Please